Oh,
Yo, hello?
good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yo, what's up?
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Appreciate you taking some time to come on, and we'll do a consult over the phone. So, the downside of not having a camera is it's not as ideal because I can't look at you, but we can definitely still go through some discussion and you can ask any questions and all that stuff.
True, yeah, I thought about that after I asked you. I was like, wait, I probably need a camera, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's all right.
my bad.
It's just not ideal.
Yeah.
Before we start I have to make a disclaimer that I'm not going to treat you as a physical therapist in the terms of you as my patient.
Hmm.
The content that we're doing right now is purely educational. We're just going to talk through some general things that I notice and give you educated opinions on what could be best used to help with that. I'm not going to diagnose or treat any injuries.
Okay, okay.
Okay, cool. So let's get started first. Let's get a little bit of history. How long have you been playing games? How long have you been playing League?
I've been playing, I want to say like ever since I was like 12, playing like Call of Duty and stuff. I used to like only play Call of Duty, then I got into RuneScape for about like 2 to 3 years, and then as soon as League came out, which was, I forget how old I was. I was like
Did you
14?
play season one?
Yeah, I played it as soon as it came out.
Nice.
Like the end of
Nice.
season 1. So yeah, I've been playing for like 10 years, so it's been a while.
Okay. Awesome. And then when you started I always ask this too. When you started playing, how long did it take for you to get to like High-ELO?
The first season I started, well, I played at the end of season 1, so I played like 5 rank games and did like, I just did my placements and got like bronze. And then the next season, season 2, the highest division was diamond, and I got diamond in that season.
Wow. Okay. I honestly think there's talent involved with League.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Like there's certain people, like a lot of the pros I talk to who in 1 or 2 years were like challenger level or grandmaster, whatever it is, right? The highest at that time. Which is just crazy to me.
Yeah, there was one pro player, I forget who it was. He went from like not even level 30 to like worlds or something on his first
Jeez.
year. It's like, what the? Like,
That has to be talent. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no way it's like, yeah, you can't just do that. Cool. Well, let's talk about some of the history that you might have. Do you have any relevant injury history or physical problems that I should know about prior?
No, not that I know. I've never like broken a bone or anything.
Okay. What about previous pain while playing?
When I played like a lot, like 12 hours a day, I used to have like really bad joint pain.
Where?
And like, I was like, it was always like when I woke up. It was always in like my knuckles. It like hurt a lot. It was like really stiff, and it was like hard to kind of move them. So I'd always have to like put my hand in like hot water.
Did you notice that was more in one hand or the other?
Yeah, it was like my right hand. So the
Mouse hand?
mouse hand.
Okay. Was it specific joints in particular, or was it just kind of all of them?
It was like, I think it was not my thumb. It was like everything but my thumb, I want to say.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. And what did you do? So besides the hot water, what did you do that made that stop happening?
I just did a lot of wrist exercises. I would always just like, for like 30 minutes, or like 20 to 30 minutes a day, I would just like stretch them out. Just like not play League as much, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it just like went away. I don't know how, but...
That's actually that's really good. So stretching alone is going to be really important. We'll go over like what stretches you're doing and which ones you could be doing. But yeah, generally that kind of stuff, the stiffness in your fingers and your hands, that's due to using your joints in a very small range of motion repeatedly, which is essentially what League is, right? You're using such a tiny fraction of the available range that those joints will tighten up on you. So it's kind of the principle of use it or lose it. If you don't move your hand and your fingers through full range of motion regularly, you start to lose some of that range.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. Are there any specific issues or questions you want to start with?
You know anything? Well, you probably don't. So is like your field knowing about like the mental aspect too, or just like the physical?
It's mostly physical. I try to stay more on the physical side because I'm not a qualified or trained mental health professional. That being said, I do learn a lot from some of my colleagues in the space who are psychologists or sports psychs, or just mental health professionals who focus a lot on the performance side. So I can maybe, talk about it a little bit, but I'm definitely not the expert.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'd say like, I don't know if you know the term like brain fog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have like It's just like random. I just feel like some days I just cannot focus at all, but then other days I can. I don't know like why that occurs.
The first part about trying to improve that would be determining, is there a pattern, right? Do you notice that the brain fog or those sensations occur after doing certain things, or during certain times, or during certain days?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think, but it's like I feel like I don't really do anything. Like there'd be like some days where like I run and then I don't feel it, but then there's other days I don't run and I still like don't feel it. But then like the same days, it's just like random. It feels like I don't know if it's like the amount of sleep or something.
Okay, that's definitely a potential possibility. How's your exercise level?
Not good. Not good.
Not good. Okay, what does that mean?
Not like any, I'll be honest. It's usually like
All right.
6-hour streams into coaching into going to bed. I was starting to like run every morning, but then I kind of got sidetracked and then kind of stopped. But I definitely need to get back into that.
I definitely think that might be a contribution, and even if it's not, it's going to be beneficial for you to schedule a little bit of cardio in every day to get some better blood flow. That can definitely help with the feeling of brain fog, or getting rid of some of that, I guess, unawakeness, right? If you run after, no matter how far, right? If you run like 5-10 minutes, there's no way at the end of that you're actually feeling tired, right? Or like, like I guess mentally exhausted. It's really hard for your body to both spike activity level and then also decrease mental level. So there's actually a large correlation between doing exercise, doing activity, and actually your brain functioning faster.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I definitely think it's like really important that actually like before stream, just like even if it's just like a 5-minute or like 10-minute run, like probably helps a lot.
I mean, you can do it fast. You could go outside and sprint like 3 times, just as fast as you can, walk back, sprint again, walk back, sprint again. You'll be done in like 30 seconds, but your heart rate will be up. So yeah, there's easy tricks for that, but I definitely think long-term doing regular cardio exercise is just going to be really beneficial for you. It evens stuff out too, because if you're in good cardio shape, your brain is just going to naturally be functioning faster and better just throughout the day.
Yeah, that makes sense. I definitely need to just wake up a little bit earlier and just not make excuses, be like, oh, like a lot of the times I like wake up late and I'm just like, oh, well now I don't have time to do it, so I'm just going to go right into streaming, which is like waking up and just going to the computer is not really the play.
No, you should probably eat something, drink some water. There's all these general things, right? But obviously those sound like very basic health advice tips, right? Everyone kind of knows that stuff. It's hard to do because it feels like it's a lot of things altogether. So what I always try to advise people on is set easily achievable goals first. So don't try to run every day of the week, before you stream. I would shoot for like, hey, 2 times this week, I'm just going to run before I stream, right? And at least twice a week, you should be able to wake up slightly before. And so that way, if you do it 2 times a week, it's not overwhelming. It doesn't feel like you're drastically changing your life, but you're adding these little tiny habits that over time accumulate and become bigger and better habits.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's just like hard to like do it all at once, but yeah, you just like you just slowly build it up. It's kind of like you don't go straight into running. You want to like maybe just like walk a little bit first, do like a little bit of sprinting, and over time do it. It's about creating small habits, and then over enough time, it becomes easier also to do big habits. So if let's say you get used to running 2 days a week for 2 months, it's really not that big of a jump to go from 2 days a week to 3 days a week after that, right? And then you can just slowly do that. And that allows for your brain and your habit formation to catch up and make it actually a habit, which means that it's something you do kind of subconsciously. You don't have to think very hard about it. It doesn't feel like a lot of mental effort, like brushing your teeth, right? That when you were a kid was probably more of a struggle, and your parents would force you to do it and all this stuff. But at a certain point, you don't really think about it. You're just like, oh, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to brush my teeth first and go to bed. Like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'd say that's probably the easiest way to create new good habits is break it into chunks. The other thing with kind of that brain fatigue is looking at sleep habits prior to sleep. So it's really difficult to affect sleep in the act of sleeping. So I can't really give you a ton of stuff to do, when you're sleeping, but the stuff you do before can definitely allow you to sleep better. So number one would be, making sure that you're trying to limit screen time within an hour of sleeping. I know everyone says that it's really difficult to do,
Yeah, that's a
but
tough
really
one.
trying to spend, like 30 minutes at least of no screen time. It could be anything like, I'm just going to go drink some water. I'm going to do a deep breathing exercise and then go to bed. The research has showed that doing a deep breathing exercise like right before you sleep can actually result in much better REM sleep too, which is the deep sleep, which is what you need.
Yeah, usually it's just like I'll get off the computer and just like I'll just chill on my phone and like look at social media and then like go to sleep, which sounds pretty bad, I guess.
No, it sounds very normal. It sounds very typical. I think the majority of people do that. I do that a lot. I'm like, last thing you want to do is check, social media on your phone and maybe catch up on whatever emails you might have got that day. And like, okay, now I can go to sleep because everything is done. The problem with that is, you're going straight from work or looking at stuff or being somewhat stimulated to trying to rest. It's really difficult. So sometimes if you do that, that's fine. But then before you actually try to go to sleep, you should lie in your bed and do like 10 really deep, slow breaths. And it's almost like a 10-second meditation. That can actually help undo some of that. Like it'll just at least get you into a calmer state. By taking deep breaths, you stimulate the vagus nerve, which has a direct effect on heart rate. And so you can actually slow your heart rate down right before you try to go to sleep. That's a really good way to kind of prepare yourself mentally. It's almost, like meditating.
Yeah, that's really interesting to keep in mind. Yeah, I used to like some days when I was like on my face routine, it was like pretty good, right? Because I would just like I could do my face routine and then that's like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I wouldn't be looking at a screen, and I would just go straight to bed. So
exactly, yeah. So why did you stop doing that?
I just got lazy. And like there's like bad things in my life happen, and kind of like lost motivation, I guess. But
yeah, that definitely does occur. Motivation is it's definitely a multifactorial issue, right? There's a lot of stuff that motivates people. There's a lot of stuff that demotivates people. So trying to identify like what those things are makes it really important, because you might realize, hey, I'm a little bit of an introvert. Whenever I go and hang out with a lot of people, I lose all of my energy, and then it becomes really hard to do other things. So just knowing that, it doesn't mean you stop hanging out with people. It just means that, okay, if I know that I have a lot of stuff to do a certain day, I'm not going to go hang out with a bunch of people before that and then try to get all that stuff done, because then I'm just not going to do any of it, and then I'm going to feel bad about myself. So like being aware of your own triggers and your own motivations is also really important.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. And then I wanted to also touch on the other benefit of doing cardiovascular exercise or exercise in general is that you will sleep better. Your body does really well with accumulating energy, burning that energy off, and then doing it again. If you never really burn off energy, you will start producing, to put it in layman's terms, you're going to start producing less energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like sleeping and resting should be recovery, but if you haven't used anything, there's nothing really to recover. It just kind of decreases your overall energy over time, so that you start basically having less energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would it be like good? Is it good to like exercise before you sleep, or is that bad? Like you want to do it in the morning?
It's not bad, but definitely if I were to work out right before I try to go to sleep, I would not be able to sleep very well, because you've kind of stimulated everything, right? Your brain is wide awake, your body's like fired up, ready to do stuff. It's really hard to go from that straight into sleep. That being said, if you exercise like an hour or two before, and then you kind of let everything calm down, you might actually be tired enough that you'll sleep better. That's one way to think about it, but definitely not like right before you try to go to sleep.
Yeah, I've always heard like mixed things about that.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of exercising early on, like in the morning or in the afternoon, because it kind of tends to give you kind of that energy boost for the rest of the day. And then when you actually want to go to sleep, you're actually fatigued and tired enough.
Yeah, that's how I was viewing it too. And I feel like just like running just like puts you in like a better mood.
Absolutely. There's an effect called the runner's high. A lot of people they definitely feel that when they run after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, I would definitely feel that for sure. And it's probably just a lot better to run outside too than like on a treadmill, right?
Better, yes, because it's actually harder. You're actually propelling your body rather than just kind of lifting it all.
Really?
But it's not like, oh, if you run inside, it's just a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of just, it's not bad. It's good. It's a good thing overall, even if you're on a treadmill. But no, I don't think you have to go outside or you have to be on a treadmill. It's whatever you're gonna do. So that's another concept I try to stress with people is, you know, it doesn't matter what the best exercise is or the best stretch is. What's really important is that you're doing something that you actually enjoy enough to keep doing, or you see the benefit in it enough to keep going.
Yeah, that makes sense. Every time I do like on the treadmill, I can't last like 5 minutes. I just get like so bored. But like outside, I just feel like it's just way more like motivation. Just way, it just feels a lot better.
Sure. Yeah, same. I can't do treadmill.
Yeah, same.
You're just kind of like a hamster, like running in place, and
it feels miserable.
Yeah. Have you had any wrist or arm issues playing?
Yeah, that's weird. I feel like I've played so much. I've heard like so many people who have wrist issues, but I've never really had it. I had like the thing in my joints, but I've never had like wrist issues. I don't know why.
That's actually, I mean, that's good. That's a good thing, right? And I know you play some fairly mechanical champions. Do you find that playing certain champions kind of flare up that stiffness more, or is it just generally just based on hours?
I could definitely see it. Like when I played a lot of Cassiopeia, it definitely hurt my hand because that champ is like very, very intensive. It's just like non-stop hitting E, like a lot of like orb walking, just like kiting.
Yeah, like that makes sense. So your click rate's really high and you're spamming ability keys a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. That's definitely the most irritating thing. That's interesting you say Cass because I haven't played her really, but I would thought that like, you know, playing Yasuo or I don't know,
Yone?
Yone maybe. I feel like do you think Yone is less mechanical than Yasuo?
Yeah, he definitely. I would say Yone is more like decision making. It's like you have like these like you have your abilities, and if you miss them, it's like really drastic if you miss them. Whereas like Yasuo, just like you're non-stop fighting, you have so many possibilities, and just like you can do so many things.
Yeah. When did you pick up Yasuo?
It was season 6. I like the end.
Okay.
Because
and you just decided like that was gonna be your champion.
Yeah, I picked him because at that time that's when Heimer got reworked, and I needed a counter to Heimer because everyone was just spamming Heimer, and I was like, wait, Yasuo just completely beats him. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play this champ, and then just like stuck. I really hated him when he came out because there was no like PD build, and there was like more of like a static build, and you just like ult in and you just die instantly. I was like, well, this isn't fun.
Yeah. No, I mean now it's like if you have good mechanics, I mean his skill expression is so high. It's always fun to watch good Yasuo players. Not really to play against them, but to watch him.
True. Yeah,
I hate that champion actually.
You hate him?
Well, I just hate playing against him because it's like I'm in low elo, so it's like if he's good, he's gonna slaughter your whole team. Like,
true.
There's no outplay.
Yeah, there's no counterplay to a Fed Yone, Fed Yasuo. That's why people hate them a lot. Because like,
yeah,
I think there's a lot of counterplay in lane, but like obviously if you're not the one laning against them, and then you're just like, oh, you come out of lane and you're against a 10-0 Yasuo, you're like, well, I lose.
Yeah,
there's no counter.
Exactly. I feel like Yone's actually worse. I've seen so many Yones who go like 0-6, 0-7, but they get 2 items and then they can carry a team fight.
Yeah, that champ is a bit bonkers, especially in low elo.
Yeah.
Pretty disgusting. I've actually watched one of your streams when you were playing ARAM once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think you were playing Misfortune. Your mechanics and everything were like pretty good in my opinion.
Oh, I appreciate it. I think I vaguely remember someone saying that, and I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I'm definitely. I think League is so mental, right? Like everyone kind of knows that, but it's also about decision making. And I think even with good mechanics, I've heard other people say this too. It's like the difference in mechanics between silver and possibly even plat players is not that drastic, but then the decision making is huge. Like.
Yeah, I've seen like silver Yasuos do like the most like complex mechanics in Yasuo or whatever when they're silver. It's just like they're practicing like this super hard. It's not even that hard, but it's like the hardest combo on Yasuo instead of like actually trying to like improve on stuff that's actually important. It's just like you gotta focus on like the macro. Like I don't think League is a very mechanical game. It's only like 4 buttons. Like compared to other games like shooter games and everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not that hard.
Yeah. I think that's why I like League actually, because I'll watch LCS or I'll watch pros do these things, and I'm like, realistically, I could practice what they just did and recreate it eventually. But it's just the decision making of knowing where you should be, what lane states are, what the objective should be. That stuff is super difficult.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, I like it a lot too, because like it feels it's kind of like chess, right? Where it's like there's just a lot of thinking, like the 5 pieces are like the champions. It just feels like feels really good. It's like a thinking game, but then you bring in the solo queue, and then it's just not fun because it's a team game, and then like League just can't work in a solo queue environment. Like it's gonna be tilting for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like there's not a lot they can do to make solo queue feel fun ever, because they've attached a rank system. It always has this emotional attachment to it that it really shouldn't. Because when I play norms, it's not that tilting unless people are flaming or just doing dumb stuff. If you play a norm and everyone's just kind of trying and you end up losing, it doesn't feel that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the addition of the LP that like makes this ridiculous monster.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they just add that system, and they just add autofill to tilt people for no reason. Like you can't tell me that like, there needs to be autofill on like silver gold. There are so many people playing. Like they're just autofilling people just to tilt them, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean it's worse when somebody just doesn't say anything, and they're an autofilled jungler, and then so everyone starts flaming. Like, what are you doing? And they just it's like I feel bad for both parties because the whole team doesn't deserve that. But then they also don't deserve to get flamed just because they got filled into a position they don't know how to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know when you started playing with the old system where like you didn't even pick your role. So it's like if you climbed a high-elo, then you like had to have been good at all 5 roles basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but they got rid of that. So now it's just like when you get autofilled, you don't know how to play that role, and it's not the person's fault. Like they climbed playing those 2 roles, so it's like.
Yeah.
How do you expect them to perform like an actual like? Imagine like being a support main being filled the jungle and you versus like an LCS jungler. You just lose.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. And
then people get mad at you like, oh, you should have dodged. But it's like, well, do I want to dodge and take a 30-minute timeout or?
Exactly, and it's like a 30-minute what's it called? 30-minute queue time into a dodge. Like that feels bad.
Yeah, especially I mean, if you're a streamer, I can't imagine.
Yeah, exactly. I just had a last game where I had a 30-minute queue time. I didn't want to dodge it. My whole team just mental boom. They're like, oh, pick Diana. And then the enemy team picked Diana and the guy didn't answer. I was like, okay, I'm locking a Mumu. I'm not trying.
Oh.
And it's just like, whoa, that's fun.
That's tough.
Yeah, that happens every day. Unpunished.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of this stuff on Twitter in terms of the league Twitter, right? Like all the high elo players complaining about a lot of this stuff that obviously doesn't affect anyone in low elo, but it's I can't imagine that if I was let's say Diamond, that I'd really want to get into Challenger when some of these issues are like you can't do anything about those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why you see so many like I'm sorry, go on.
No, you can go.
I was just say like that's why I see so many people who like just auto like basically lose their promos to master every time and just stay in Diamond.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's just like also there's no like if I were to like I coach people too like on the side, right? And then they're like I don't really want to get to Challenger. I'm like, yeah, I mean I can't really give them any like motivation for it because like if you don't want to go LCS, if you don't want to stream, is there a point of getting Challenger? Like not really. You don't even get rewards for being Challenger. Like there's no motivation. That's why people smurf, even like high-elo players who can get Challenger. There's no point. Like if we put it in terms of me ending Challenger, so Twitch Rivals, right? Yeah, so they made it so you could have 2 Challenger players per role. So basically me ending Challenger made it so I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, that's stupid. That makes no sense. And it's not like having 5 Challenger level players means that team is better.
I know, yeah, exactly. So it's just like if you have the what's it called? Like synergy versus 5 people who are Challenger but don't have synergy, like you can definitely win. Like 100%.
Well, I think if especially at your level, right? If you're a Challenger level player anyway, I mean, even in Grandmaster, you're playing against Challenger, and it's not like they're. I don't know. You tell me. Are they significantly better than someone who's like Grandmaster, or is it more just like they have hit that rank?
I would say it's like more. It's more time investment. Like there are people who are Grandmaster. Like Cat Evolved was considered Grandmaster because he just didn't play that much, and like obviously he literally won Academy. Yeah. So he is a Challenger player, but he was picked over me because he's like GM, and I'm just like, well, this is just tilting. But yeah, I agree. There's like, I've seen a lot of GM players just like beat challenger players because like it's just about like a time sink. Most of it. Well, it depends. Like there's a lot of luck in solo queue for sure. So it's just about like how much you're grinding and like where you're at. But obviously, like in High-ELO, you just like know when someone's a good player, right?
Right. Yeah, I think it's interesting that your community is so small. You know everybody in there, right? Like you see the same players over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that like you can play against a player and you know that because there's so few challenger or grandmaster level players, that the next queue you get into, you can target ban someone, right? So like they're clearly queuing up right now. So
yeah, I've definitely gotten some people mad at me for banning their champions. But I'm just like, if you want to win, you kind of have to, because like they always ban my Yasuo Yon usually. So I'm just like, if they're gonna ban it, I'm gonna ban yours. Like it should be like no hard feelings, to be honest. Like that's the downside of being a one trick, right?
Sure, and I think that's why I mean, what are your goals? Are you obviously? I feel like I saw you tweet about how you're not a one trick or a two trick, and you've been playing a lot of other champions. Is the goal eventually to go and be LCS level, or?
I think my goal right now is just like, I play on like a semi-amateur team just for like fun, but I don't think the pro aspect really thrills me that much, just because, well, I really like competing. Like I'm a really competitive person. But it's just like being a competitive mid laner. First of all, I don't really like the lifestyle that much because like I don't want to be like away from home personally.
Yeah.
And a lot of like mid laner right now is like, if you are a competitive mid laner, you have to just like play Orianna like half your games, which is just like, that's not fun.
You have to play the meta.
Yeah, exactly. So like my goals right now is just like be a streamer and just like play really fun to watch champions, which I already have like Yone, Yasuo, and I'm trying to pick up Viego, Gwen, stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's why, unfortunately, you didn't get to play this last Twitch Rivals, but Twitch Rivals is kind of an awesome concept. I was thinking about it yesterday watching the final. I was like, you know, this is a competitive environment. Obviously, everyone cares about winning, but it's streamers, so they can play their one tricks. They can play champs that, you know, you would never see at the LCS level. And it was kind of fun to watch. I think that's a really cool bridge.
Yeah, I mean, I played it in a couple before they introduced the rule where it's like, oh, no challenger. I just really don't like the rule because obviously, even TF lane didn't get picked. He's literally rank 1, or was rank 1. He doesn't get picked because top lane and mid lane are just like not that strong compared to jungle and like support. So you want your challenger players to be in support jungle if you want a chance. So it's like, sadly, there's like Diamond 1 players and top lane. I mean, like good for them, obviously, for like getting a chance to showcase themselves. But I mean, it's definitely tilting when like you grind the game every single day, like you get challenger, and it's like you're kind of punished for it. It definitely felt pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can understand. I don't know if that rule was made in response to like people complaining, like, "Oh, why are we going against a team of challengers when we're all grandmaster?" But at the same time, like you drafted your team, right? And
I also really liked how it was like that because like it gave like one time. Keep It Taco, he didn't get drafted, and he was like, he made a post, he's like, I didn't get drafted because I was GM, I will try to get challenger and get better and make my, or improve my champ pool. I'm like, nice, like that gave him a lot of motivation. And that's what it was really good, but now it's just like, when they do this, now there's no motivation to climb really.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's better, like it'd be better in this same situation than to just like, oh, I'm just going to stay GM so I can get drafted, but I'm going to play at a challenger level or something.
Exactly.
You know, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, but definitely feels bad. I'm definitely like thinking about like decaying at the last second this season because like all you get for being challenger is the challenger icon. It's like, wow. Yeah. Like I don't really care.
You get some skin and you get like they don't even do the backpack anymore.
Yeah, they should. I've seen so many challenger players, including myself, be like, please just bring this back, and that's how you revive High-ELO. That's all they have to do. Yeah, it costs them actually nothing, like for the amount that they make. They said it was like because like it was annoying to like ship them out to every region, but it's like you don't have to even do a physical reward. You could just do like maybe like a cash prize, like like you like $500 or like 1,000 if you're top 10. Obviously, they can afford that. Like one skin gives them like $1 million. So. Right. That's so crazy. Yeah, that's what CS:GO does. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, but CS:GO's created a whole like black market for skins. True. Which is it'd be interesting actually if League had literally limited skins. Like there's only 500 or 1,000 of these skins made, you know. Like tap into the whole NFT market. That'd be really cool, like a top 10 skin or like a challenger
Yeah,
skin.
like I mean,
Even
that would make
something
it
that small.
super competitive.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually like that. Then you see someone who has that skin, you like can't buy it or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see someone who has the top 10 skin, you're like, holy crap! And it should be for whatever champ you made it on, right? So you actually have to think like, what skin do I want this for?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
They should really do that. But then like, I guess because people would be angry that it's like they can't get it, but it's like that should just give them motivation.
Yeah, I guess the counter argument, I guess, if people would say, oh, there's going to be groups of individuals who just win trade to get there, or like.
True. Yeah, I've seen
like,
that
ways to
argument.
skew it. Yeah.
It's like I feel like it's easy to ban those. You can't win trade that many times before getting banned. I hope.
Right. Like you literally have a 50%. You're just top 2 all the time.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. It'd be easy to. I mean, the ban system is pretty bad currently. If you don't type any bad words, you do not get banned.
Yep. I think I've only, I mean, or they have to be dumb enough to literally just run it. Like they walk down lane and just die 5 times.
Yeah.
I've gotten someone banned for that, but I was like, I mean, that's so obvious though. I mean, it's so easy for someone to just like follow the jungler around and take all his camps, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I've had people who were like filled. I had like a Talon main filled onto support, and then he was just like soft inting, like emoting every time he died, but he wasn't typing anything, so it's like, oh, whatever. It's fine.
I'm just playing bad, and I'm just having a bad day.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that they could fix.
Yeah. Well, let's we kind of derailed a little bit, but what are some things I can help you with that you might not understand that well?
I guess like, is there any other like exercises you would recommend for like just like not injuring my hands? Because like
yeah,
obviously
let's go
like
to that.
if that happens, it's probably like too late if it happens, right? Like, you should probably like do the exercise before it happens.
No, I wouldn't say it's ever too late. I would say that a
Really?
lot of stuff preventatively also translates to stuff that helps you later as well. So if you are having issues, yes, it will help you kind of get over those. But if you do a lot of stretches beforehand, they can be very preventative. So do you have my stream open, by the way? So can you see me?
Yeah, one sec.
Okay. Because I'll demonstrate a few, so at least, even though we don't have your camera on, we can at least give you and your viewers, whatever, like a demonstration of some of the stretches you can do, some of the exercises. I have a really easy, like 3 or 4 exercise warm-up that I try to give everybody, especially League, because there's just certain things that are very common, right, in this population.
Okay, I have your stream open.
Cool. All right, so the first one is a warm-up, and I would do this before I play every time. You're going to do tendon glides. There's 2 ways to do it. The first one is just opening and closing a fist. And so like I said, when you move your hands and your joints through full range of motion, it prevents a lot of stiffness. So this is a great way to loosen up before you play, right? It also gets blood flow into your forearms, which is really important. The tendons that pull your fingers go all the way through to your elbow. So the muscles that control your hand are actually down here a lot of times.
Okay.
So you'll do 10 or 15 of these, and then you're going to do 10 or 15 more with wrist movement. And again, that's because these fingers and these tendons and muscles went all the way through. You want to try to use that full range as well. And as you're doing this, you might actually feel some of these muscles get warmed up and tight, or even tired. It just kind of shows that you have a little bit of weakness in the forearms, and this is important for strengthening as well.
Yeah, I feel weakness already. I'm weak.
But it's like a warm-up, right? So it's almost like, I always use the example of like professional athletes in other sports. When they want to sprint, they don't just go and stretch and then sprint. They actually do a dynamic warm-up. They'll lunge, they'll get blood flow into their muscles. That helps everything function better. Thanks for the follow, Thibs Wilson. The second thing would be an extensor stretch. So this is a muscle I call the legal legends muscle. The extensor tendons are what allow you to lift your fingers up. And so when you play with your mouse hand a lot and you're clicking, thousands of times per game, that muscle gets super irritated. The way you can stretch it is by angling your fingers downward. You're going to pull on the knuckles, the topmost knuckles here, and just pull towards you. And you'll feel that stretch across the top of the arm. Okay?
I feel it.
All right. So that's a really good one for the mouse hand. This guy is probably the most aggravated muscle I see in League players. The second one is the opposite of that. You're going to go fingers up. We're just going to pull. This is for the flexors, the muscles that actually pull your fingers downward and inward.
Oh, I've done that before. I think my brother showed me that one. As
Yeah,
you
this one's
saw
really,
on
really
Twitter,
common.
that he is.
One thing
Tempest.
that I always stress is that, carpal tunnel is not common in gamers. It's actually very, very rare. I've never
Really?
seen it in 3 years of working with professional esports. It's more common that you get extensor tendon overuse or you get irritation of the ulnar nerve, which is the nerve that runs on the pinky side. So sometimes if you get some numbness tingling into your pinky, that's kind of the issue. How hard dead? These helped a lot, actually. Oh, great! I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, these two stretches, the warm-ups, and then I like to give a couple postural exercises. So pinching your shoulder blades back behind you is really important because it pulls your shoulders out of that position that you're in when you play, stretches your chest. That helps kind of take pressure off the front of the shoulder as well down into the arm. Your nerves that go into your hands come out of your neck. So when you're in this forward position all day, these nerves are actually getting pressure put on them through your neck muscles, through your pecs, and then they go into your arm. So it just kind of exacerbates even any irritation that you're having as well.
Okay.
Cool.
It's feeling good. It's feeling good.
Yeah. And then the last thing is to mix up the position that your spine is in all day, right? Instead of being hunched forward like this, you want to get chest up towards the ceiling. And then I like to do twists after. So you might get some good pops, cracks. That's all good for your joints.
Yeah, I definitely
How's that
need to
feeling?
do. It's feeling really good, actually. I did a lot of popping.
Yeah, so if you do that between every single game, let's say that you stream, how long do you stream for every day? Like 6 hours, 10 hours?
It was 8 hours, but I'm doing like
Okay.
4 to 6.
Okay. So that's roughly 6 to 8 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that amount of time, you probably start feeling some of the stuff already building up around game 3 or 4. So it's really tough to recover and then continue playing. What's really better is to limit how much irritation your body's undergoing from the beginning. So if you do this between every game, like just stretching back, doing a twist, and then like doing some light stretches, it takes you maybe 30 seconds to a minute, which is about, your queue times are clearly longer than that. By doing that, you can actually preserve your body throughout the entire 6 hours. You really won't even feel anything by game 5 or 6. And then hopefully by then, there's no way to basically prevent any fatigue, but it helps you get through the day at a much more comfortable level than feeling like every time you get up to the 5th or 6th hour, you start dying.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. I remember, if you know Chase Shako, he came into my chat and was like, yeah, that's what I do. Like, since he streams, he used to stream like 12, he used to do like 24-hour streams. I don't know what, I mean, that's just not good, but whatever he wants to do. He was always like, yeah, I just stretch after like every single game. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, nah,
it's a habit. It's a habit, man. And in a lot of ways too, this is what I tell people, to go back to that performance mental aspect. If you have a really tilting game, one of the best ways to untilt is to do something else physically. Like for me, like if I have a really tilting game, I just go walk my dog, and I'm just gonna take him out for a couple of minutes, let him pee, come back in, and it just resets. If you can't leave, obviously because you're streaming or whatever, what helps is doing a little bit of physical activity, because it's something that takes your mind off of the game and it puts it on something positive, which is your body, and you should feel physically better after. That combination can kind of reset your mental for the next game. It's a really good habit.
That actually makes sense. I know I always tell people like, yeah, take a walk, but I never thought about like just stretching.
Yeah, I mean, it takes so much less time, right? So 1 minute of stretching can seriously, in some ways, save you a lot of mental just fatigue and stress after. And then the other thing too is that when you talk about streaming, right? Like a lot of streamers who are doing these 12-hour, 24-hour streams, this is an incredibly stressful activity for your body. I always say that the reason I do these consults on stream and live is because I want to help streamers understand that the stuff that they go through is significantly worse than what a lot of pro players go through, right? Mm-hmm. Pros have a very set practice schedule. So they scrim 4 or 5 games a day in the afternoon. They solo queue on their own. It's kind of up to them. A lot of pros won't solo queue for more than a few hours a day. They basically play a few games. They go do something else. They do VOD review. They come back, play a couple games. The idea that like some of these streamers like 5 or 6 days a week are doing 10+ hour streams is actually insane. Like that's very, very hard on your body.
I can imagine. After like 6 hours of streaming, I'm just like, I can't play. I cannot perform.
Yeah, you're wiped out, right? Like
yeah,
you're
for sure.
Not playing well. Your everything hurts. I've done a couple like 5 or 6 hour streams, and I honestly don't know how people make it through 24.
Yeah, I've never done the furthest, the highest one I did was like, I don't want to say like 16, and I'm just like, I can't go any further.
Yeah, especially playing League, because now with League, you have the combination of stress in the game. It's very mechanically demanding, or it's very, I should say, physically demanding in terms of click rate, right? You can't play League recreationally and just have you be like chill. It's not like playing like World of Warcraft or you're clicking like 1 or 2 times here and there. Like League is always an intense game. Like even playing different modes, it's a lot of clicking. It's a lot of physical demand.
Yeah, it's like
so doing that
thinking too.
Yeah, so doing that over 12 hours is incredibly exhausting. And add to that the stress level of like getting tilted or it being just a naturally stressful game. You get a lot of tightening and co-contraction of the muscles in the neck and in the upper shoulders. That's why after 5 or 6 hours of League, people tend to have a lot of soreness through here. So a good stretch for that is just going side to side with your head and holding these for like 10 or 15 seconds. That'll stretch the upper traps. That's a really important one for League especially. I like to combine that with that scapular squeeze. That deactivates some of the upper trap muscles and it reactivates some of the lower trap muscles so that it shifts the emphasis from these areas that are already sore to the lower parts of that same muscle.
Yeah, it's feeling good. I like it.
Cool. Yeah, and so I think that's the most basic stuff. If you want to get more in depth, I think stretching your hip flexors is really important because when you sit all day, those hip flexor muscles get really shortened and they can get very tight. One of the hip flexor muscles called the psoas actually runs all the way through your abdomen into your lower back. So when that muscle is tight from sitting all day, it will actually pull your back into a different position.
Really?
So if you're having a lot of back pain and you're constantly doing this to try to resolve it and it's not getting better, try stretching that hip flexor muscle and actually slouch a little bit. This is something that I think a lot of people, when I work with them for the first time, they're kind of like, what, you really want me to slouch? And about 30% of my patients who have back pain, it's because they constantly try to sit too straight thinking, oh, I need better posture. That actually puts pressure on the joints in the back, and some of the muscles, the extensors, will they'll get kind of knotted up and like really annoyed. Really? So learning how to slouch is actually important too. You want to always think about having breaks in your posture rather than having perfect posture at all times.
That's really good to know, actually.
Yeah. Listen to your body. I think that's the number one thing I tell everybody is if you are having pain in a certain position and you change that position and it feels better, that's what you should do. I think we get so stuck on like, does this look right, that we stop listening to what our body's actually telling us.
You have to like stand up for that, or just like with the hip thing?
Not necessarily. Yeah, you do have to be kneeling. So if I'm using a chair, I'll just like kneel one leg on the chair and I'll bring my other leg forward and try to stretch like the front of my hip forward like that. Yeah, that's an easier way to do it. It's just about changing the positions that you're in all day.
Yeah, I think my sitting posture is pretty bad too. Like the way you were just sitting like that, that's how I usually sit. Kind of.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad, but
I mean, that's what I mean. There's no really bad posture.
Really?
There's just bad habits. Because if you change your posture regularly, your body's going to feel better for it, right? If you sat with perfect posture for 6 hours, I guarantee everything will still hurt.
Really? That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's miserable. Try sitting with perfect posture for more than 10 minutes. It's impossible. Everything starts to stiffen up. You start feeling like everything is working really hard, and then a lot of times you'll still have joint pain, right? So it's better to know where perfect posture is and be able to get there, but then also listen to your body. Don't stress out when you're in the middle of a Baron fight and you start leaning like this. Yes, it's not ideal, but is that really, for me, because I work with a lot of pros or people who competitively play League, I really don't want your posture to at any point jump into your brain when you're trying to fight, right? In a game that really matters, or in a fight that really matters in that game. Like that's the last thing you want to do, because then it distracts you and you mess up, and then it's like it starts to affect performance.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think like with the perfect posture thing, I think like a lot of people just think it's like what you want to do, because like, yeah, as you said, it's like hard to do for like 10 minutes straight, right? And like people just think, oh, it's hard to do, thus it's like good, because like a lot of things in life are like that, right? It's like running, it's like hard on your body. So maybe I guess like a lot of people think, oh, like this is kind of hard to do, keeping it for 10 minutes. So it's like good, but it's like in reality, like, just not.
I mean, well, let's also, I mean, it would be ideal, right? If you could sit with really, really good posture and not think about it and just have good posture, that is ideal. Like that is not a bad thing by any means. But I don't want a lot of people to start stressing so much about having perfect posture that, especially at the competitive level, where it starts to affect everything else. If you're playing casually, or you're just a gamer who doesn't really, you know, I guess everyone cares about performance to some degree, but not to the point of like it's life or death that I win this game, then you should practice in good posture so you get used to it, and then it becomes a habit. I think there's a difference between me working with pro esports versus working with gamers who are more recreational. Because, you know, at the pro level, if I tell a player to do a certain thing and they just suck in scrims that day because they're trying to think about what I told them, it really starts to affect the ability for me to tell them anything. Because at that level, it's like you either win or you lose your job.
True. It's just like so much mental stress, and it's like
yeah. So I with them, I really try to focus a little bit more on like stuff to do in between games. I don't really want to touch their anything that might indirectly affect how they actually play, especially for the worse.
That makes sense. Like I know my brother plays this game like casually, and like as you were saying, like the perfect posture, like that's what he would do. Like he never has like bad posture like me, but like he doesn't really care that much about winning, you know.
What rank did he get up to?
He actually got to platinum playing just like casually.
That's good.
It was like pretty impressive, but then he just like stopped playing because he became a physical therapist. So
yeah, I saw that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked him about any of this stuff, or?
I actually haven't. I don't know why. I see him do the stretches that you just showed me a lot though. Like I see him do a lot of those. Like, huh,
yeah.
I
mean, I feel it. Like I play a league pretty frequently, and I'm telling you, like, I get the exact same issues. That's what I try to stress with everyone too, is that just because I'm a doctor of physical therapy doesn't mean I don't feel the exact same stuff that every gamer feels when I play for 4 or 5 hours. Like it's universal. It doesn't ever change. And so that's why I think in some ways too, it helps me understand how to best approach this, because I know what it's like to be a couple games in and you really don't want to get up and leave your computer, right? You just want to play another one. So what can you do before that though? After champ select, I will just force myself to do some stretches, because you know it's going to help you go further, even if you don't feel like you need it, right? After one game of league, you really don't feel like you need to stretch a bunch of stuff, but it's a good habit to just do it anyway, so you don't get to that point where you feel like you have to do it and it's already too late.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel a lot better just like talking to you and like stretching this whole time for like 20-30 minutes. Like, it feels really good.
Yeah, that should be something you factor in. Maybe like in your streams, right? After like 3 or 4 games, put a longer break in there. Put like a 10-minute stretch break. You and your whole chat can do it. And like, hey, you guys have been sitting here probably watching on your computer. It's probably good for you too, right? Get everyone to actually do some neck stretches, do some wrist stretches, and hopefully everyone feels better after.
Definitely do that in the 1 hour queue times too. So
there you go.
that's a benefit of being high-ELO, I guess. Like you could actually have the time. Like you don't need to like stop the queue. You could just keep in queue and just do it.
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, a lot of pros too they complain about that, because they're like, "How am I supposed to practice as much as a Chinese team when it literally, because of queue times, I can only play 6 games in a night?"
Yeah, it's just like it's like 20-minute queues and dodge. And by the time you get like the worst comp imaginable, then you're just like, this is such bad practice, but I don't want to touch.
Yeah, everybody's gonna play it out at that point.
Yeah, just like it's a 50-minute game, and you're like, well, I could have dodged, but I waited an hour, so I'm not. Yeah, it's hard.
That's tough. What are some? Maybe you can help me. What are some tips that you have for climbing out a low elo?
When I coach people, I always look at their OPGG. I'm always like, if you're playing more than like 3 champions, you need to limit it. Just limit it to like 1 to 3 max. Yeah. Like if you're just playing so many champions, you're not building the habits, right? You're just like, oh, this one week I played Yon, I'm finally getting good at him, and I'm gonna drop him. I got bored. Now I'm gonna play Riven. Oh, you're starting all the way over from scratch, basically. You know? Yeah. I've seen so many people do that. I'm like, oh, what do you play? Like, oh, I play Irelia when I'm in the mood. I play Yasuo. It's like okay. Even challenger players can't play that many mechanical champs in a row. I mean, obviously some if they're like amazing, but
yeah.
they're
But
definitely.
I totally see what you mean. But now, how like okay, I had an issue this season where I was one tricking Swain right as a support. I had like a 70% win rate for about 2 months. And then it just fell apart. Like I just could not win a game on him, and it still feels like that now. Where it's like I just can't win with him. I don't know why. Like I don't know what's changed. Maybe the meta shifted. Maybe certain champs got better at countering him. But I just feel like sometimes I don't know. I go through phases of like winning a whole bunch, and then for whatever reason you get into these games where it just feels like you can't do anything, and so I switch champions. And is that the right answer, or just keep pushing it? Because like I mechanically I'm good on him still. I know how to play him. I just played so many games on him. Like every time I roll him in ARAM, it's like I hard carry the team. But I don't know.
When did you? What was the time that you had a 70% win rate? Was like earlier this year?
Yeah, it was probably the first like 2 months of this season.
I think because like they buffed support items like enchanters, and like enchanters are really good. Tank supports are really good. I would say mage supports are like relatively bad this season. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that's what it feels like right now. It's like if I don't play like Nautilus or Seraphine or something, it's really just sketchy. I mean, even like, I don't know. Pike feels like okay right now too, because I think they buffed him.
Yeah, Pike's pretty good. So you mean, like you only play support, right?
I was actually the last 2 weeks I decided to switch to bot. Like I just switched to ADC because I was like tired of thinking so much and roaming. I was like, I'm just gonna play ADC and try to win my lane.
I think you could just like play Swain in ADC role because that's his highest win rate. He's where is he?
Yeah.
Actually, he went down. He went down this patch by a lot. What?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm not a high-elo player, but it just feels like he's not good right now. Like I get that feeling. Like every time I play him, it just doesn't feel like he has a lot of the power that he used to have.
Yeah, that champ's a little weird. It's like at least at High-ELO, it's very dependent on if you have a lot of CC. Because like, he has a lot of counterplay. He's kind of like Yasuo, where he has a lot of counterplay. If you dodge his E, then he can't pull you. But then, if you just like pair that with a Pantheon, then he has no counterplay, right? Or like a Leona.
Right.
Then the Leona hits the E, you land the E automatically, and you just kill them.
Yeah.
But it really depends on your support, for sure.
I like that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep Swain as my pocket pick while I learn ADC. If we ever have a team with like just heavy CC, I'll just pull them out.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely really good. But I mean, if you're playing like AD carry, I would say, well, yeah, you're playing support and AD carry, as you say. That's like probably the two hardest roles to carry in low elo for sure.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
For sure, like those roles are really hard.
I know if I was a really good jungler or mid laner, it'd be easy. I actually used to play jungle a lot, but I feel like jungle is just such a, I don't know, it's just not a fun role right now if you're not hard carrying the team because everybody hates you.
Yeah, it is very mentally taxing for sure.
Yeah,
you will just get yelled at even if you're playing perfectly.
That's what I mean. Even in a good game, like I'm still getting flamed, and it's just eventually that wears on you. Like you'll be winning, but it feels like every win costs a piece of your soul.
Exactly. That's why a lot of jungle mains are like get a little bit toxic because they're just sick of it. They're just like, I can't be flamed for no reason every time.
Yeah. Like you'll be dying 1v1 in top lane and blaming your jungler for not ganking and
yeah, exactly. Like no matter what you do, you're gonna get flamed somewhere. It's just like obviously my tip for that would just be mute all because it's just too toxic.
I mute all anyway. There's just no reason, especially in low elo. Nobody says anything worth listening to. Like literally none of it is good information. So like nobody's calling summoners.
Yeah. It's just flame. Like I see people, I coach people, and then the whole chat is just like all chatting like, XD, was it worth killing me? I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
Yeah, it's really bad. But yeah, besides like playing like a few champions, I would say I don't think dodging is that important in low elo. Obviously, there's sometimes you should dodge if like your team's playing Zed Akali and then the enemy team has Annie Garen. You're not winning that game. You're gonna lose. It's just
that's actually I like. It's funny because you say that like it's so obvious. I have no idea why that is. I mean, I guess it's a bad matchup, but I've also seen both of those champs, like, it's just low elo. Nobody's consistent. Matchups almost don't matter sometimes.
True. It's just like a lot of people in that elo are bad, so it's like unless the Akali or Zed are smurfing in silver, then they're probably just gonna lose to a Garen or Annie because you can't really mess up Garen or Annie like at all. But you can do so many things to mess up Akali Zed.
That's true.
That's the huge thing. But I mean, if they're smurfing, they're probably gonna carry the game.
Right. right? But there's nothing you can do about that anyway, right? Like I've seen actually Garen Smurfs, right? And that's super not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's actually the most annoying thing, because Garen or Mundo at a certain point, he's just like, I can't kill him, and he doesn't require any sort of mechanics. He's just gonna win the game by having better macro and like killing all the rest of my team. So.
Exactly. When I the rare times that I smurf in that elo, like silver, gold, permanent ban Garen. I will not let Garen through. I'm like, nope. I will not play against that champ.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm gonna have to try. Like every time I talk to challenger level, grandmaster level players, I'm always remotivated to like get better at the game again, and then solo queue will slowly leech that out of me over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
but
obviously, probably your mindset is good, and that's where I start with people. I'm like, if you're the first part is actually your mindset. Like I had someone in my Discord a while ago. Every single day, he was like, Tempest, I can't carry silver. Like, it's just unwinnable. I'm like, and he was like, if you're in my position, you couldn't win these games either. I'm like, bro?
It probably could.
Yeah. Every single day, I'm just like, dude, you need to like work on your mindset. You need to like get out of this thing where it's like every game is my team's fault. It's like, no, you need to just like focus on your mistakes.
That's like a deeper problem in life, right? People who won't take accountability for not being good enough, and they blame everyone else, it's really hard to advance in anything you do. Like, it doesn't matter if it's league, or it doesn't matter if it's your job or school. Like, nobody's going to hold your hand and carry you to the top.
Exactly. Like, that's why I'm always like, the first thing in anything you do in life is just your mindset. It's just like, if there are people, like, you should be inspired. If there are people, challenger players, who win every, like, if they can't lose a single game in silver, it'd be like, yo, if I get that good, I can do that too. Obviously you haven't played that much. You're not a challenger player, so you shouldn't win every game. I'm not saying that, but it's just like, if someone can do it, that should be your motivation.
Right. That's what a lot of people told me. Like, I mean, if the examples, like, if Faker was playing, if you were 5 minutes into the game and you left your computer, Faker hopped on, is he winning that game? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Probably, like, it's not going to be that hard. But yeah, there are games that are literally unwinnable, right? If you have. And those shouldn't tilt you, right? If your mid laner just goes 0-11 and just runs it down, you shouldn't actually be tilted by that at some level, because it's like there's nothing you can do to control that. It's not your fault. Like,
yeah. I mean, I've definitely lost a game in gold before. It's like, I'm a challenger player and I've lost in gold. Yeah. But just like, I've had people come to my chat, it's like, yo, how do I climb when 80% of my games I have an AFK? It's like, is that really happening? Probably not.
Yeah. Or are those the ones that stand out in your mind? Like,
exactly.
I try to track that stuff myself, is like, actually after every game, looking at my OP.G, or go looking back at my history, and like, which of these games is winnable and which of these games is a hard in, and it's really close to that. Like 20% are just unwinnable, and then the rest of them are in some way or another definitely winnable. Like, if you guys have played a little bit better, like, made one less mistake.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what it comes down to. It's like, you could have won this game. It's like, is it your fault you lost? No, but like, that one single mistake lost you the game. That shouldn't be how it is. Like, that's a hard game. You're not supposed to win that game, but you could still win it if you played completely perfectly. Yeah,
for sure. And what's really frustrating is that because of the win-loss, right, it's hard not to fixate on the win-loss rather than, oh, we were actually in a very competitive game, and if I had played better, we definitely could have won, because like, let's say the two teams are 50-50, right, or so close. You playing better would have made that a 60-40, or like.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Like, mindset is just a massive thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't think you can get to high elo without having a fairly stable mindset in terms of the game itself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you'd be surprised about some people. It's usually, there's not that many. Like, the respected challenger players don't act like that. You see a lot of it in Diamond. Diamond is like really bad.
That's what I hear. A lot of people, like, on Twitter and stuff, when I say, like, I would just love to make it to Diamond, like, I'd be super happy. I'm not going to be challenger. I don't spend nearly enough time or effort on this game to get to that level. But if I can make it to Diamond, I'd be super happy. And then a lot of people are like, you don't even want to be in Diamond, trust me. Like,
yeah, like,
it's the biggest collection of egos.
I know. It's just like, if I'm playing in challenger and I lose lane, I'll never be like, no one's gonna all chat me and make fun of me. But like, one single time I lose lane in Diamond, or I get solo killed by one time, they're just like, how are you challenger? It's like, okay, you're not challenger by solo killing me one time. They'd be playing like Pantheon versus Yasuo, and they'd be like, I'm so good at the game. It's like, no, bro.
Yeah, you're just gonna make it for You're gonna make it on their stream or something and clipped in a YouTube video.
Yeah, they just get, I don't know, they get so angry and they're like, you could just tell, it's like they're in Diamond because their mindset is just like, they think they should be Challenger, but they're just being held back. It's like, it just reflects, and it's really cool to see, actually.
Okay, so someone in chat, Day One Homie says, ask for an op.gg review.
I mean, I'm down. I'm down.
All right, let's take a look at it. It's real bad. I've been playing on 2 different accounts, but we'll go to my main. I've been playing more on my main again because the MMR is kind of doomed on my other one again. So it's 50-50 between ADC and support on this account. It's Respawn DPT.
Respawn DTP?
DPT. Delta Papa Tango.
Okay, pull it up. Oh.
All right, so I have a 55% win rate over 20 last 20. That's actually a lot better than I thought it was. I thought it was still... This account was actually silver 2 and almost silver 1. I was like 68 LP, and then I just had a bad day and I lost like 13 in a row, and I just completely crushed my MMR. I was gaining 10 for a win and losing 17 to 18.
Really? Yeah, I don't know what they did this season, but the MMR is like completely doomed on like every account that's like not brand new. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it
was really bad. I mean, for a while, I mean, even when I was at like, you can, I don't know if it would go down that far, but a lot of these, it was right before all this stuff. There was a time when like on Swin, I literally had a 67 or 70% win rate over like 50 games. And my MMR still just wouldn't climb. I was still gaining like 18 and losing like 14. It just never felt like it was in that point of like, oh, I can win a game and go up half a level, or half a rank.
So even after all these wins, your MMR wasn't like crazy?
No. And then every time I go on this loss streak of like 6 or 7 games, it would tank it again.
Yeah, I don't know what they did to the system, but it just feels like they stopped caring, by the way. Like, it just feels like I've never seen a season where like everyone's MMR is just gone and they don't care.
Yeah.
Like they just don't care. They're not trying to fix it or anything.
Right.
It's so weird.
Like you can see here, like so I went on this massive loss streak, right? When I was playing like nothing but Swain, Caitlyn, Thresh, whatever. And then up here I was like, I'm gonna try tank Senna, and I was having a lot of fun with that build. And so I won like 80% of my games. And it didn't even really fix my MMR until I got up to here. Like I'm still actually gaining like 14 and losing 17.
That's great. Every single person that I OPGG review or just I coach, every single time they end a game, plus 12, minus 17. I'm like, but you're literally like, winning. I don't understand.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how many wins? It only takes you like 5 losses to screw it up. How many wins does it take to refix it? Because I don't know. It just seems unfair. Like, and I totally get why people just stop playing on an account. Like if it gets to a point where you're getting negative MMR, just like you just can't play it because you're gonna waste so much time trying to fix it, and every loss sets you back. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like I could tell people like what's it called? Don't care about the number and just care about improvement. But like I'm not gonna say that because I'm hypocritical. If I'm playing on an account and I win 2 games and I lose a game and I lost progress, I would just be tilted. I would lose motivation.
It's a huge waste of time. It's a huge waste of time.
Yeah, I would lose so much motivation. But I mean, like, yeah, I think that you're not playing too many champions, which is really good. Like, you're playing just like Kate, Triss, and Senna. I play more Senna. Your Senna goes crazy, actually. Just win every game.
I know. That's why the tank Senna build. But it gets flamed a lot because I think, in low elo, nobody actually looks at builds, so they don't realize like Frostfire is like a big thing in Korea right now. And so I just keep getting spam pinged like, oh, you have Frostfire, you have Frostfire. I'm like, just
just leave me alone.
Just shut up.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe you can go like the Kraken build a little bit more if it's like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like, it's fine. Like you're against a lot of assassins here. You're going this. Yeah, I feel like the times that you go grasp, it's good. They have like a lot of assassins and like dive, so it's like really good. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could go this every single game because they're doing it in Korea.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I don't know why I stopped playing Senna actually. I think it was so around this time when I started losing a few of these, I switched to my other account and then I started losing on that one. And so I came back to this account and I was like just tired of it. So I was like, I'm just gonna play ADC from now on on this account. So starting from like after this Nautilus game, I just started playing nothing but like Kate, Kaisa, and Trist.
Yeah, I would definitely say AD carry is definitely better to climb out of than support. But I mean, like, for like how little you play, like, you've been kind of smurfing it. So I feel like if you just like keep playing and like keep playing like two champions, like if you keep like perfecting your Tristana, keep snowballing, you play more Senna. Like if you get support, play Senna because like probably a really good carry champ for support, just because endless scaling is broken. In
I've noticed that I used to play a lot of Pantheon and it's super fun, but almost every game goes past 30 minutes and then Pantheon is just unplayable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so, Pantheon support is pretty bad right now. I think he's only a solo laner. Yeah, I would say.
I mean, actually, I'm looking at ranked games. Like, I have over 50% on everyone except Zyra.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you just play Senna, keep playing Senna. You keep playing. You want to keep playing Nautilus. You've been winning every game on him. Yeah. Pick up Swain again when you need the AP.
Yeah.
Then your Tristana. Where's your Tristana win rates? Relatively new champ. Where is it? What?
I think Triss is just broken right now.
Wait, why does it not show up on your champion list? Or do I not see it?
That's weird. I maybe I've only played. I haven't played enough games on her.
Oh wait, I didn't update her. That's why. Now it should show up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you have a. Oh, you only played 3 games on her? You like these are like your first 3 games on Tristana ever?
No. I've played her before on like I said, I bounce between accounts, but I've played her before like 2 seasons ago. I played a lot of Trist, I think.
Oh yeah, I mean if you just keep playing Trist, Kate, and Senna, I feel like you get to at least gold, at least. Yeah,
that'd be the goal. That'd be my peak. I mean, I really wanted to hit gold this season, so that like at least season 9 I hit bronze. Last season I hit silver. It'd be nice to get to gold this season and like just keep climbing. I feel like that's a decent rate.
Yeah, man, I think you could definitely do it for sure. At least gold, at least. It's just like you're kind of doing it on hard mode playing AD carry. If I had to be honest, like AD carry, it's OP in High-ELO, it's broken in High-ELO, but in Low-ELO, it is a team role, so it's pretty rough.
Better just keep going support then.
Yeah. Oh, even support's.
Yeah, but at least with support I can be more annoying because I can roam mid all the time, and if we have a semi-decent mid laner, I usually end up helping them win their lane.
True. If I were to give you like solo carry supports, I can actually like carry games. Like Nautilus, even winning on Nautilus, I'm not gonna say not play it, but it's like if your team doesn't do anything with the lead, you just lose because like you can't kill people with Nautilus.
Right. That's why I was playing Swain a lot.
Yeah, I would say like Swain's good, Pike is really good, Senna's really good. Champions that just like can kill and roam. Well, Senna doesn't roam, but Pike is just gonna roam. You pick up the kills and you just carry the game. So I would just like try to play those champs for sure.
Cool. All right, I'll definitely do that then. Yeah, holy crap! My average damage per game is 73,000 at Swain.
A lot.
That's nutty.
Yeah, Chim's really fun. I can't play him though. I don't know why. I lose every game.
Well, I mean, at ELO, people actually dodge skill shots. I'll literally get like people ask like how many souls are you at or whatever. Like I'll literally hit 80 to 100 souls like every game with Swain because nobody dodges anything.
Oh yeah, I forgot he scales too. Yeah, I mean he's definitely a good champ if we go to rank 13 player. Swain one trick. Okay, he's been struggling. Never mind. He's definitely good though. This guy's annoying to verse. I definitely don't think he's like a top tier champion though. Like he's okay, but
yeah, I would say like maybe the first month or 2 of the season he felt really good. Like I was doing crazy amounts of damage, and like I think I don't know if the items changed or what, or just the meta, but like yeah, he was feeling really powerful. And then now it's like I lose. If they have a Tristan lane, I can get a double kill and I still end up losing lane because the Triss just outscales and like blows me up.
Yeah, that champ is really. I think if you just spam Tristan and get good at that, we'll get to gold. Yeah. That champ is just really good in lane, hyper scales, has so much playmaking potential. It's just
really and she's been fun. I just enjoy playing because she's one of those champs where she's really easy to play, but her ceiling is really high. Like if you play her well, it's crazy what you can do.
Yeah, I'd say in lane she's like pretty easy. You just jump in, kill someone, but then like in team fights, it's like if you jump in and into a CC, you explode.
Yeah. Senna, I feel like Senna has less outplay potential. I don't know. Senna's like fun and she's easy, but I don't feel like I can do as much as Senna.
Yeah, I agree. Just like you kind of just like poke people, but it's really hard to kill them. I would say. Yeah. They just walk away after being poked.
Right.
I don't know how good she is, but yeah, if you just keep playing Tristana, Caitlyn I don't think is that good, but if you like Caitlyn,
I think it's just
playing
the
it.
mechanics are easy.
True. I don't see Caitlyn ever in High-ELO.
Hmm.
It's just like Tristana, Kai'Sa.
Yeah, I wish I was better with Kai'Sa. I don't know. I haven't played enough Kai'Sa games to really know her power spikes that well yet. Like, so sometimes I go in, I use her R, and I feel like I should win this fight, and I just end up losing it. And so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, she's very you have to know your limits because you just go in, you don't win the fight, you lose. I can't play I've tried to play Kai'Sa a couple times, I just can't. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, she feels like she is not very good for a long time, and then she gets really good.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's not like a linear scaling like Trist. I feel like Trist gets, you know, strong early if you get like level 2, and then after you get one item, she feels strong, and then after you get a few items, she feels like godlike. But there's never a point where Trist just feels terrible. I guess if you're keeping up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't really play AD carries. I just when I get bot lane, I just play Yasuo. So I'm kind of your worst nightmare.
And that's actually viable right now.
Yeah,
it's actually still so good.
It's actually really good for sure.
Yeah.
I would say the biggest counter is Senna. I hate versing Senna.
Yeah.
Just auto
Actually,
through the
that
wind
makes
wall.
sense. Yep. Because yeah, you can queue through the wind wall. Stiffy says, yeah. Do you main the Y bros? Yeah. Yeah. He's a Yasuo Yon.
I can pull up to my OPGG real fast. I have two. They're like around the same elo. The Yasuo Yon. I was playing Ziggs.
He asked which one do you like better?
I think Yasuo's more fun, personally.
Yeah.
But I definitely think Yon is a better champion, especially in lower elo, because he just scales so much better, and he's a better blind pick. So
100%. Yeah. I think somebody, I don't know, some high-elo player tweeted this the other day, but I thought it was so true. It's like, remember when Yasuo was the most annoying champion that everyone permabanned? Like, I haven't banned a Yasuo in like a year.
Oh, I think that was Ioki.
Yeah. I haven't banned. He's right though, because like I used to permaban Yasuo, and I haven't even needed to because I felt like Yasuo just doesn't feel as good right now. Yon I banned a lot. Pyke I banned a lot.
Yeah, I would definitely not fault you for banning Yon. That champ is so broken, especially like the lower elo, the more broken he gets. He's insane in low elo.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the guy doesn't even have to be good. I've seen a Yon literally get trashed in lane for like 20 minutes and then still somehow come back and 1v9 the team. Like,
yep, they just say 0 and 10 power spike in, which is like it's kind of real.
Yeah.
Just go 0 and 10, get 2 items, kill everything. Oh.
I feel like healing is really strong right now, though. I had a few games with Amundo where, you know, as to Senna, I ignite, use, I have Grievous, I have a full like, you know, a Mortal Reminder, and he still heals through it. It's just ridiculous. Like, okay, what does it take then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Can't cut healing.
They nerfed Mundo this patch a little bit. I don't know what they did, but I mean, if you look at the patch notes, the nerfs do absolutely nothing like every single time.
Right.
So
right, like everyone's talking about Hecarim being crushed now because they took everything from him, but beyond that, they haven't really hard nerfed the champ to like I guess Samira, but then they reversed it.
Yeah, that was the first hard nerf that I've seen. The Hecarim nerf, that was huge.
Yeah.
It's the only time they did that, and I don't. Their changes are so weird. It's like, okay, let's make Diana a jungler, let's make Rumble a jungle, Morgana.
I don't understand that. Yeah.
Kind of random.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have any other questions for me though? I appreciate the conversation. I love chatting League.
I guess the last question would be like, you know, anything about like diet that like comes to play?
Yeah. I generally try to suggest like a generally just balanced diet, right? It's kind of the same thing as creating good habits with anything else. Don't try to do a drastic diet change. Try instead to focus on like the couple things that you could just say. So an example would be, I'm gonna just not eat any fried food, right? That's one thing you can do different. I think that you want to make small changes here and there. Like, no soda is a big one for a lot of people. But if you can make that one change, the benefits are massive. So when you approach, when you approach diet, it's just the general stuff, right? Eat a balanced diet in terms of carbs, protein, fiber. Make sure you're getting a colorful meal if that makes sense. Like you want a lot of colors in it. That generally means that there's healthier food, unless it's food dye. And you want to try to eliminate things that you know for sure are bad slowly. So for sure there's nothing beneficial about drinking a bunch of soda. That's one thing you cut down. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of it completely. Just like, hey, I'm going to limit my soda intake to 1 time a week or 2 times a week, right? And you just kind of create small habits. And then over time, Now, if you incorporate 3 or 4 of these things, people are going to be like, wow, you're so healthy. Like you never eat fried food or drink soda. And in reality, that's like not a strict diet. That's just like not eating crap.
Yeah, I definitely
So-
did. Yeah, it's kind of like the running thing we were talking about. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've tried to change my diet a lot. I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna order again. But like in reality, it's like it's okay to order like
Yeah.
like once a week maybe.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that you can always think of it as a trade-off too. If you increase your exercise, you should be allowed to eat a little bit worse, right? Or you should be allowed to have a cheat meal every once in a while. And it's not going to be a massive impact on your body.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Cool. Great. Well, I hope I answered your questions as much as possible. If you ever need anything, definitely reach out. I appreciate you taking some time to chat today.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it a lot. I love doing these just like talks. It's a really good
Yeah.
break just from like streaming every day, just playing
Yeah.
6 hours of League ranked. It's like definitely need a break and like just do something else, do something like enjoyable,
Absolutely.
just have a conversation with
Absolutely.
someone.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for your time and reaching out. Let's definitely let's talk again soon.
Yeah, I would really enjoy it, and thanks for giving me the time too for doing this.
All right, Tempest. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Peace. Alright, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that, actually. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. I don't even know how long that was. That was like at least an hour, right? It was really enjoyable. Hope that was informative for you guys. I learned a lot. Especially the stretching thing. Because like I know Chase came to my chat and was like saying the stretching thing, but I never knew like what to do, like how to stretch, like what he meant, so really good. Soda's so bad? Yeah, I agree. Soda's terrible. Also, if you guys haven't followed him yet, I would definitely give him a follow, for sure. I'll give the link in the Twitch chat, but if you haven't followed him, definitely give him a follow. Works with a lot of esports people, a lot of pro players, so definitely give him a follow. He's a really good guy.